Right, are we ready?
Yep.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for making it today. We are calling this press conference for a heartbreaking reason, because we are here with bereaved parents, people who have had the worst experience possible, losing their children. The death of a child is the worst thing that can happen to any parent, and the parents sitting with me on this table lost their children, not because of illness, but because of social media driving them to either take their own lives or allowed others to fuel a lethal attack. I want to create a national platform for these parents to tell their stories. As a mother myself with 3 young children, I worry about what social media is doing to our young people, and I want to make sure that we can keep them safe. I've also had, in my own extended family, the loss of a young person, 27, due to social media. And I know that this problem is global, it is widespread, and it is about time that in the UK we do something about it. We need a ban on social media for under 16s. We need the government to stop dragging its heels. Social media is for adults, it is not for children. We need to police the age. That is easier than policing the content. Let's have the freedom for adults. Freedom is not for children. I think it's important that we also know what it is we're talking about when we speak about social media. We're not talking about websites. We are talking about platforms that allow strangers to connect with children, send them messages, and provide endless content, often of a damaging nature. These platforms are designed to be addictive, and we cannot have a situation where tech companies are profiting from our children's anxiety, insecurity, and vulnerability. Social media is very difficult to supervise. I say this as a parent who is relatively tech savvy. It is impossible to ask parents to control this. They need help. We all need help. Children aren't always looking for this content. It's often pushed to them, and we need to make sure that we can keep our children safe. So I'm going to, first of all, introduce Ellen Room, who will talk about the parents and why they are here. And I will let Laura Trott, who's the Shadow Secretary of Education, to explain exactly what it is that we're asking the government to do. But first, Ellen.
Thank you. We come together as a group of bereaved parents. We form part of the Bereaved Families for Online Safety group. This is 6 of us, but our group is growing every day. Children are dying every day. And all of us here so strongly back a social media ban. We want children off the platforms. We can't delay any longer. You have children dying, and our children, as in the photos here, are no longer here. We can't make a difference for our children, but we can for other children. And so we absolutely support a ban.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask everyone to speak, introduce yourselves, and say what you think needs to be heard. We'll have about a minute or so for each person, and then I'll bring in Laura. So George, why don't we start with you?
Yes, so my name is George. I lost my beautiful son, Christopher. He was murdered by predators who attacked him, gave him 50 days to complete challenges, or else they would kill his family. He had no other option. They promised him that on the 50th day, if he completes the last challenge, then they will leave him alone and leave his family alone. Our son, IQ of 140, brainchild of the family, and we've lost him. So if it could happen to Christopher, it could happen to anybody. It could happen to any child. And that's why we've set up our charity CCF World, so that we can go and educate other parents and children about the dangers of social media, and I think it's very important.
All right. Actually, Ellen, I didn't actually give you a chance to tell your story. Why don't I let you do that first?
So this is Jules. I've been campaigning for Jules' Law, which Liz Kendall has said that she will pass, which means that children's data will automatically be preserved within 5 days of their death. I don't know why Jules isn't here. I believe it was something to do with social media. There was nothing found offline. There was no mental health, no sign of bullying, nothing offline. This was a normal, happy child, and an hour and a half before I came home, there's a video of him saying goodbye to his friend. I don't know what happened. I strongly believe it's something to do with social media.
Thank you. Lisa.
I'm Lisa Kenovan, Isaac's mum. I lost Isaac in 2022 to believe a social media act. Highly inquisitive boy, no medical, no mental issues. We were a family of 4. Now our dynamics have changed forever. It was a very happy day on that March the 8th, 2022, and we lost our beautiful boy the very next day. We do have evidence that Isaac took part on a act that was part of a TikTok challenge. And so myself and another parent called Holly, who's over there, we now go into schools, be challenge aware, and we try to create awareness for parents, because it's not wayward children, it's not unloved children, it is anybody's children this can happen to. So that hence why we're here today, and that's why we need a social media ban ASAP.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Holly?
Hi, I'm Holly Dance. My son, Archie Battersby, he was 12. We believe Archie took part in an online challenge. We don't have the data at the moment, but we know that he did watch 7 minutes of TikTok the day of his accident. Like Lisa just said, we go into schools to raise awareness, not amongst the children, but the parents. I think the misconception that parents think that their children are watching exactly what we're fed in our algorithms, like women doing their housework, is what our children are fed, and it's really not the same. Archie was an extremely energetic little boy, inspired by his brother, very into his fitness, his gymnastics, his MMA, and he had his first MMA fight coming up, 2 weeks, would have been after the accident. He asked me to order him a night coat that day, clearly a child that intended on being here. So what happened that day, we still don't know, but I do believe it was an online challenge.
Thank you very much, Holly. Mariano?
Mariano Janning, father of Mia. She passed away almost 5 years ago. She didn't have any mental health problem. She was bubbly, looking forward as any child. Suddenly, we found that she was bullied, cyberbullied, and she passed away. She took her life. 4 months after, I lost my wife. And our fight, in my personal state, is my wife fight. We need changes. Unfortunately, we need to take time of this equation with social media. Time is detrimental, and that's what we are here.
Thank you very much, Mariano. And finally, Stuart.
My name's Stuart Stevens. My son was Ollie Stevens. He grew up in a happy household. He was 80% of our family. He was our entertainment. He was our joy. Things changed for him when he went into secondary school, when his mobile phone activity became stronger and stronger. And then COVID struck, and children were left to their devices, and there was constant interaction with the outside world through their mobile phones. We as parents had no idea of the harms that existed on social media. And we along with many families within the country, are working to highlight the dangers of social media to young children, schools and other parents. Unfortunately, Ollie was a very trusting child, and he got into a friendship group, which was toxic. He did not realise it was toxic. He was groomed, bullied. They were abusing him behind his back on social media. He was lured out of the house, and he was murdered by children, 13 years old. As you're aware, a lot of the families here self-harm, and I hate the word suicide because it's not suicide. They are bullied and they are groomed into positions where they will take their life because they are frightened of consequences that someone else is threatening them with. Or, as Lisa and Holly, the blackout challenge. Jules, very possibly the blackout challenge. These challenges are fed to children as a game, as fun. This is not the case. They do not understand the harms they are letting themselves into. So part of this panel, part of these amazing people, we are highlighting as much and as best as we can as grieving parents to let other parents know that social media is harmful. We've been campaigning for 5 years. We have tried to get these social media companies to engage with us to change their ways. There should be safety by design, but it's not happening. There is too much money being made. So the only alternative we have is to ask for a ban. And this should be a complete ban for children under 16. Just ask a teacher with what they're dealing with in schools, in primary schools even, because of social media. They need to have education first before they step into that world. A lot of adults can't deal with social media, the trouble they get into. Why should it be there for children? Why should it be there for under 16s?
Exactly. Can I thank you all for sharing your stories? It is incredibly brave of you to be speaking publicly like this. Thank you for sticking your heads above the parapet. I think what we're really trying to do is show the level of devastation that is being caused. There is an assumption out there that it's just happened to a few children. The numbers of bereaved families are growing every single day, and it's lots of different harms. It's cyberbullying, it's blackmail, threats, dangerous challenges, and murder, as we have seen. This is not about a moral panic. This is real, and we need to do something about it. This can happen to any child. As the parents have said, these were not children who had issues. For those parents who think, oh, this isn't going to happen to my child is fine. No child is safe. We don't know who will be harmed by this. And the worst outcome, I think Laura will speak on this in a moment, is that parents don't even have the data. They're not allowed to see exactly what went on. This is what we want to change. So I'm going to bring in Laura Trott, who's the Shadow Secretary of State, to talk more about how we can solve this issue and what we are asking the government to do.
Thank you, Kemi. And I also just want to say how much I admire all the parents on this panel today, because they've taken every parent's worst nightmare and turned it into a campaign to actually help other people. Now, I really want to stress, this can happen to any parent. Any parent watching this today needs to be afraid for what their child is looking at online. And the government simply is not acting in response to these dangers to our children. They've promised a consultation, but it's not a consultation on how to do a social media ban. It's a consultation on if they should do one at all. They've said they're going to be decisive when they decide what to do. That is appalling and an insult to the many campaigners who have fought for so hard and for so long. It is clear that the government does not understand the urgency of the task which is in front of us. But we do. And we have a vote which is coming up in the House of Commons in a couple of weeks. And I know there are brave MPs on all sides of the House who are willing to step up, to defy the whip if necessary, to protect children. Because what we've heard today is that social media isn't safe. We can't make it safe. We tried to make it safe. We tried to police content. It has not worked. But what we know we can do is police age. This has worked elsewhere. It will work here. It will make a difference. It won't capture every single child. We know children get around the alcohol ban. You know, they occasionally will sneak a cigarette if they're underaged. But it will deter the majority, and that can make a difference. So I'm so grateful to the bereaved parents today. I'm so grateful that they've spoken up, because I hope for all of you, it helps you to understand just how bad this situation is, and we need to do something about it. So I do hope that all parties come together in a couple of weeks and actually vote to make a real difference, rather than another consultation that has nothing in it, which is really going to respond to the urgent situation that we're in.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Laura.